What's going on, guys? Gary Yaman here, back at it again with a new video. Hope everybody's feeling safe and is fine. Let's begin right away with reviewing this little guy, the Sony ZV-1. This is supposed to be the YouTube camera, the best YouTube camera out there, according to all the great YouTubers or big YouTubers. I'm very skeptical about it. If I hear those bigger YouTubers saying that a camera is great and everything, so I want to test it out for myself and see if it's any good or not. If you don't want to see the full review video right now, you don't have the time, then I can just say right away, this is really good for creating videos for your YouTube content or YouTube channel. So let's begin right away. First of all, just how I'm going to review this camera is going into different parts. So first of all, the build quality and the price, then talk about the image quality, then the performance, and finally my final thoughts and recommendations. So let's begin right away with the build of the camera. It's very compact, very lightweight, has that 1-inch sensor with the 1.8 2.8 aperture. Focal range is like a 2470. I'm going to show you later on in the performance that this viewed angle, this angle of view, you know what I mean, right? In the performance you will see what I mean with that. I have the little microphone dead cat attached on it. It really works well. If we look at the top, we got here the on and off button, the mode dial or mode switch, and then the record button. This little button here, the C1, you can actually program that to anything you want, but standard is on the defocus mode. Then you got here the little shutter button and the zoom in zoom out function. The hot shoe works really good actually. I've attached a little flash on it and it actually works really well. So to my surprise, on this little device it works. On the bottom side we got the battery. The battery is actually not that great if you do a lot of 4K video and a lot of slow motion. For a whole day of shooting, I do recommend at least having 2 batteries. If you shoot little clips, just like what I did with this camera, then you can get full day coverage. Does it have any record limit? I'm not sure actually. I didn't test that out. What I don't really like about this little door right here, as you see, like where you put your tripod on, if you open up the door, it will block the tripod. So that's really weird. I wish the tripod location is a little bit on the other side so that you can still change your battery and maybe change your SD card. On the right side we got the microphone input, we got the HDMI and the USB connector, so that's quite good. We got on the back side, we got the little buttons here. Those buttons feel really small actually. I don't have the biggest hands in the world, but to me these little buttons are really tiny, and I think if Sony has implemented a touchscreen, then this would be then you don't even need those buttons, to be quite honest. Then you can just use the screen. It's not the best screen out there. It's not very, like if you shoot in the sun, it's not touchscreen. It does have that tracking mode. If you are tracking people, then you can just tap on it and it will track the subject, but other than that, you cannot like use it for changing menus, especially if you have it in front of you and you want to change something. It's not even possible, so you have to go back to the end of the camera or just switch the camera and change it. But after using it quite a while, you can blindly maneuver to your menu settings or to your own settings. The overall build of this camera I think is quite solid, but still very plasticky and very lightweight, as I mentioned before, but it doesn't have any weather sealing gaskets whatsoever. You have to be very careful in bad weather conditions and if you are surrounded by lots of water. But then overall, the build quality, I really like it. It's very compact. You can just take it anywhere you want and nobody would actually look at you for, oh, he's filming or taking photos. It's not like a big DSLR or a bigger mirrorless camera. So let's talk about the image quality. Image quality coming out of this little guy is actually really good. I actually made a video last week where I showed you the unboxing of the Nikon D3500, and I made the unboxing video with that and it looks really good. I also made some vlogs that you don't see on the channel, but those are more like personal vlogs or personal family stuff. In 4K it looks really good. 1080p, it's okay. It's not the best image quality, but still very usable. But if you use it in 1080p, 60 frames per second or 50 frames per second, or even 120 frames per second or 100 frames per second, just to do extra slow motion and stuff, it really looks quite good. So image quality wise, I think this is a good looking camera. You can also like have all those different settings, those picture profiles. If you know how to edit them, then you can get the best image out of it. But to me, it's not the same as using it on a full frame mirrorless camera. I use the same settings as I have on my Sony a7 III and put it in the little settings that I have right here in the Sony ZV-1. And I noticed that you cannot color grade it the same way. Maybe it's because of the sensor. I think it's actually because of the sensor, because the way the skin tones will look using the same LUTs or the same settings and everything, it will look very different. So what I've done, I've created my own personal settings. I use for filming stuff, I use the creative style portrait. I'm gonna put the little screen here, then you can see what I actually have. Then I use a LUT that I've created myself that you can download as well for free to use it on your ZV-1, and it will look really good. So very vibrant colors. I like it more vibrant. For this type of environment, I like it a little bit more cool, but if I'm outside, I like to have a little bit more vibrant colors, like an exaggeration of real life. So image quality wise, it's really good and I really like it. I think there are a lot of people out there that are choosing between using your smartphone as your YouTube camera or a dedicated camera that will cost you extra money. And this is something that will show you that the smartphone, how the smartphone will look is actually good, but this is just looking better and more like a real professional higher end YouTube channel quality, if that makes any sense. Let's talk about the performance and extra features. The performance of this camera, the autofocus is really good. Here are some examples. As you see, it will lock on your face, lock on your eye, even on this little puppet that I have that the kids made during Father's Day. And as you see, it will just lock on for both photo and video. By the way, I didn't mention in the image quality section anything about the photo section. You can shoot in RAW and just JPEGs and it looks really good. So image quality wise, also for photography, it looks really good. Performance wise, for both photo and video, you know, it's amazing actually. The autofocus is really fast. The autofocus for both photo and video, it just locks on. And I don't have any complaints in regards into the autofocus. And the zoom in and out, how that goes is very slow actually. If you are doing a lot of fast-paced things, a lot of movements, it's just very slow and also makes quite a noise. You get also that product showcase settings, that if you put it on, you put something in front of you and it will focus on the product, not on your face. If you have that off, and then it will just focus on your face 99% of the time instead. But you can also just put something in front of your face and it will lock on to that. So what I mentioned before in the intro section or in the beginning of this video, I talk a little bit about the viewing angle. And what I meant with that is the viewing angle if you are vlogging, for instance. If you're going to vlog yourself, then the frame that you get is actually your face and a little bit of your shoulders. So not that much of a wide viewing angle, so keep that in mind if you are vlogging. And then if you add the active stabilization and you put it in 4K video mode or 4K quality, it will crop in a little bit more and it will feel like a 30mm equivalent, and it's quite close to you or quite tight. So what I do recommend is using some kind of mini tripod such as this or the Sony one, but I think the Sony one is a little bit too much money. So what I use is this little Manfrotto tripod, and this works actually quite fine. Just put it out there and just film yourself and the things around you or behind you. Still, it's a little bit too tight for some people, but then again, you know, this works and you can see yourself. What can you do with this little camera? Pretty much everything that is YouTube related, right? You can do what I do, product reviews, you can do makeup tutorials, you can do cinematic stuff, a lot of things. You can do a lot of things with this camera. Your creativity is your only limitation. You can also, of course, put an external microphone in it, and you have a better microphone or a better sound. But actually, the sound coming off this little guy straight out of camera is actually quite good as well. Testing out the audio. 1, 2, 3. How does it look? 4K 25 frames per second. So if you want a working camera for your YouTube channel and you don't want to spend a whole lot of money into extra stuff, then this is really something worth checking. Keep in mind though that this is around $750 US or $800 or so. Here in the Netherlands it will cost you also at the same price point in euros, around 800 euros. So it's quite a lot of money for a dedicated camera for YouTube. But if you make some money out of YouTube, then you can get your money back quite fast, right? Even with my channel, I got now 1,500 subscribers and I make around 100 euros per month. So it will take me around 7 months to get my money back for this. So yeah, is it worth it? If you can make great content with this camera, then yes, it's totally worth it. Things that I wish that Sony could have done better is of course the viewing angle, but also the way that the battery is located and the tripod thingy on the bottom. It's just quite a hassle. If you want to change your battery or change your memory card, then you have to remove your tripod and everything. Maybe in lower light conditions, this is not the best camera, but the image that you can get out of it is still quite usable. The picture profiles is not really necessary to me, you know, but it's quite nice to have it. But you will have a hard time if you want to, let's say you have a Sony full frame camera with picture profiles and you have a Sony crop sensor camera that also have picture profiles, and you want to match all those things with also this camera. You will notice that you can match your footage with the Sony with your full frame Sony cameras and your crop sensor cameras, but you cannot match with this camera because it's just different. The colors are just different. I talk about a lot of things, but what I didn't mention, I totally missed that, actually, is about the stabilization. Is the stabilization of this any good? And I have to say it's not perfect. It's not like the best. There is an app that you can download, but I don't like that app. It just slows down your productivity, your workflow. So I don't like it. But straight out of camera with no stabilization, it's just very jerky and shaky. Then you got that normal stabilization that helps a little bit. Then you got active stabilization that works best, but it will crop in quite a bit in your footage. I just leave it on that. The way that I shoot with this camera is just 4K 25 frames per second. It works for me. Do I recommend this camera as your dedicated YouTube camera? Yes, I do recommend this camera if you are willing to invest in this camera and you don't want to spend a whole lot of money extra, like thousands of dollars and euros. Then go ahead and buy this camera. You will be very happy with it. There are people out there that are saying, what about smartphones? Smartphones are getting better. Yes, smartphones are getting better, but the image quality coming out of this little guy is still better than that of any smartphone. Also, having a dedicated camera for your YouTube is just much easier, and in the long run you will enjoy this camera more than using your smartphone, because your battery will die real quickly if you use a smartphone for other things quite a lot as well. That's all, guys. Maybe for the next ZV-2, maybe they will relocate this tripod thingy and they will add a touch screen on the little screen, and yeah, I think that's about it. Everything works other than that, and maybe a easier way to switch between your different modes. That you have a memory mode here, but still a dedicated button that just switches to the different mode. That will be nice as well. Let's say you do normal footage and you want to do slow motion, then it will be nice to just easily switch to slow motion and to normal. So yeah, there you have it, guys, my full review. As you see maybe in this video, I don't have any like a teleprompter that I can just read something from. I'm just doing this all from my my experience. I think that's the best way to put it. Sharing my experience with you guys. I hope you like it. Like the video, of course. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more review videos. The review of the Nikon D3500 will be coming soon, and I think there will be a new lens coming soon as well. A new lens review for a Sony a7 III or any a7 camera. So yeah, that's all guys. Thank you again for watching. Subscribe to the channel if not already. Like the video. Comment down below, what do you think about the ZV-1? Do you want to know any settings? Download the LUT if you have already the ZV-1, and let me know what you think about the creative style that I've used. That's about it. That's about it guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video.